What's up, guys? Mike here again. Sharp Investing. This is not financial advice, but we have a Seritage update, and it looks like a pretty good update. I haven't been through it with a comb yet, but the big news is that they've paid their loan balance down to $800 million, which means they get a 2-year extension on their debt that they owe to Berkshire Hathaway. Now, my original thesis was that they would probably get here because there was a hard date where they had to get down to 800 million, and that would, if they did that, that would revalue the stock upwards. My average price is about 850 here, and they've done it. So now the remainder of the loan is due in 2025, and so I'm interested to see how the stock opens tomorrow. This release that they just put out isn't 100% positive. So I'm wondering how the market's going to digest the whole thing. The positive stuff is pretty obvious. Massive sales. They sold almost 740 million in had 740 in gross proceeds last year, and mostly that was from sort of the small non-core holdings they had. So basically, they sold the junk and came up with the cash to pay down the debt, which I think is phenomenal. That is a really great move, and they're left with mostly their best properties. They still have all their premier properties, I believe, unless they sold one. I think they've still got all of them. And what else? They still have a pipeline of another 400 and almost 90 million coming that they say should happen at some point here. So they're doing a really good job of funding their cash requirements by getting rid of junk. Now, the downside here is mostly in this statement. So, real estate market as a whole has experienced progressively more challenging market conditions, especially with respect to larger scale development sites. So that's what they're talking about. That's their core stuff, is a lot of that. All of this stuff: decreased demand for speculative office development and slowing rent growth expectations due to potential recession concerns. These conditions apply downward pricing pressure on all our assets. And so if we look at that, I think that the Fed wrecking ball has finally started smashing them in the head. I mean, it's probably been happening for the last 3 or 4 months, but we know that rising interest rates are bad for real estate generally. Sometimes there's a lag and sometimes there's not, but generally they're not good for real estate. So this is basically what they're saying. They've done some estimates of when they expect to get through the rest of their sales, and it looks like they're they project to kind of get through most of it by the year 2024. So and if I remember correctly, their estimate for the value of the properties, the last one they put out, was $18 to $24 a share. So, I mean, you can do your forward, IRR calculations or your return on investment calculations over 2 years if they were to get through most of their properties and then distribute the proceeds after paying out the debt, or maybe alongside paying out the debt. So personally, I'm not really that interested in having this as a longer term holding. I'm hoping that the stock price will have a little bit of a spike here. So like if you gave me something close to 18 in the next few months, I'd probably take it and run. Because I'm not really interested in waiting for them to liquidate everything. And if the economy does go in the toilet, like everyone says it's going to, real estate's going to suffer too. And a lot of the time that stuff doesn't bounce back right away. So it's kind of like it goes down and then you need some momentum built on the other side of a recession. So it might actually be more than a 2-year process if we have a negative situation with the economy in the U.S. All that said, that's all negative. Upside here is this has totally been de-risked, not totally de-risked, but it's significantly de-risked now on the debt side because they don't have the looming deadline anymore. So I would expect that the stock will revalue up, but maybe that won't happen. I'm not sure. Anyway, I just wanted to get the news out pretty quickly here, and I hope all you Seritage shareholders are happy. This is quite good news generally. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next video.